Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful week. Last week was full of very nice setups, and I hope you have been profiting from them. We have analyzed most of those setups here, and they've all played out amazingly well. I'm going to do a bit of a recap on some of the setups that we discussed during the webinar and just show you how we actually trade those in our group. Right, so before we get started, look out for timestamps on the videos. Please like, subscribe, and share the videos if you like them. Also, watch out for the timestamps. This works amazingly well. If you are only looking for specific pairs, go under the description of the video, click on the Show More tab. So if you go to the description of the video, this is the description, you'll find the Show More tab there. And under there, you'll also find my contact details. That is my email address, mobile or mobile number that you can contact me via Telegram or WhatsApp, and also my TradingView link as well as the Telegram channel. There isn't anything on the Telegram channel except for the webinar link, live webinar link to these sessions. Right, so that is how you can benefit from that. So our next course, we've just completed our course 2 weeks back. It was an amazing course. Our next course is going to be on the 5th of August, from the 5th of August until the 15th of August. It's a 2 weeks course. And for more details on the course, in terms of the cost, timing, and the content of the course, you'll get all that detail if you send me if you contact me via any of those methods listed there. Okay, so some of the things that we do once you're in the course, once you've attended the course, is that you stay in the trading group for 2 years, right? And what we do in the group, I'll show you just a brief of what we do in the group. We do daily webinars from Mondays to Thursdays between the London and the New York session. Right, so that's what we do. So what I do here is an overview of the market for the week. So on a daily basis, we go into specific trade setups, looking for trades and setups, and also entries, stops, and take profit levels. That's what we do in the group. I'll give you a bit of an indication of how we do that. So that's how you can contact me. So last week we had a number of setups. Just as an example of what we do in the group, we use the Slack platform for our group. It's a very organized platform. Okay, so what you have here is we've got all the members in here that have attended the course. The course is also recorded on videos, so that means at any time that you join, you get access to that course. All right, so what we have here is a list of all the pairs that I usually go through during the webinars. Okay, so you'll find that you've got a number of members looking at AUDJPY, 355 members looking at AUDJPY. So almost all the members that are discussing AUDJPY, you'll find them in that specific channel. Bitcoin, you'll find them in that specific channel. Course information, if you're attending the course for the next course, you'll find that information in the course channels, including learning material and everything else. Daily webinars, what we do here with the daily webinars, all the daily webinars are recorded. So that means if you're in a different time zone and you're not able to attend the daily webinars at that specific time, you get a recording of that specific day. So those webinars are all in here, so you can access them at any time. Okay, so as soon as the webinar is completed, the daily webinar is completed, the recording is shared here. So those are the daily webinars. Now we also got a channel, Trade Setups. That is where I post my ideas and setups, and that is it's a special channel that you only access after you've attended the course. And there's a reason for that. To be able to get or to take these setups, you need to have understood the strategy. All right, so let's go through a number of setups that we looked at. I'll start with one that I did on the 27th, and that we've been discussing for the last couple of months. That is Euro New Zealand. So In Euro New Zealand has been a setup that we've been looking at. I'll spend about 15 minutes looking at those these setups that we looked at. So Euro New Zealand for the last couple of weeks, we've been looking at it to drop. So if you remember here, we had this one here. I said here, expect, because it did not quite reach the top here. It does not have to break the top here, but we knew that it did not hit the tops. There was a possibility that it does this first, goes up, and then drop, and this is exactly what it has done. So if you look at Euro New Zealand now, it is around this area. It has already dropped a couple of hundred pips up to this level. So all you're looking for is any pullback that you get, you're going to drop. So we're going to do the detailed analysis when we look at the market just now. So that is how Euro New Zealand has played out. If we can just look at the live chart, current Euro New Zealand chart, let's just quickly look at that. Euro New Zealand, and see how that has played out. You see what I was talking about here. Let's go Euro New Zealand. So this Euro New Zealand, let's go to the daily. Okay, it's just loading quickly. All right, so that's Euro New Zealand, and that is how it has played out. So this is that move I was talking about. You see, we wanted it to drop from here. We knew it was going to drop, but there was a possibility that it breaks the top first before it comes down, and that is exactly what it has done. Exactly 3 moves forecasted that have happened now. We've got this one breaking up to the top, coming down like this, and now we're looking for a corrective structure. We're going to do analysis on that, and that has dropped already now about 200 pips from this level. Okay, so that's just one of the setups. This one we've been looking at for the last couple of weeks. Right, going back now, let's look at a number of other setups that were done in this week. This was also just an update. You see here, this is an update on Euro New Zealand again. That is that move that we expected. After it broke the top, we still expected that it was going to drop, and that is now where we are. We have now dropped around this level. Okay, it is now starting to pull back here. So if you get another entry here, you're taking it down. Okay, so that's Euro New Zealand and a number of other setups. So Euro New Zealand, this is an update last week. You see it has made a corrective structure. If you go to your charts, you'll see that it dropped again. There was an update in the group during the week. Okay, so that and another one that was playing out nicely was a pound yen. We looked at this. If you remember, we wanted these to actually go into the blue box and reverse. That is exactly what has happened. We've gone into the blue box, and then it has now dropped to around this level here. Okay, if you go to your chart, you'll see that pound yen has dropped around that level. Let's look at the live pound yen chart. You see how that played out. That was a setup in the week on our group. You'll find that in the trade setups channel. So I said last week that the market is trending. So all we're doing is just follow the trend. All we're doing is just following the trend. If we go to the 1 hour on pound yen, that is that structure. It's actually this one here. Let's go 4 hours so you can see the structure that we looked at. And it's doing exactly the same thing again. So this is the structure you see here. We forecasted here during the week. We said after the blue box, we were expecting downside. We got a corrective structure. That was your entry, and now it's dropping like this. It's doing this again. Okay, we have not done. We're still going to update this during the market analysis. You see it is still going to drop again, and that is how this has played out. Right, let's continue. There was a number of setups, lots and lots of setups, over 10 setups. Or 12 in the week. Okay, so that was a pound yen. Euro yen also, if you go to the live chart now, it has dropped from current levels from here. It was a setup in the group. It has also dropped. See how accurate this is? Let's have a look at the current Euro yen chart. So this, what happened to my arrows there? Still loading. Took it from here. You see here, this is where the arrow was. This is where we took it. It has dropped. It is going to continue dropping again because that's a continuation pattern. So you can see that we've dropped a couple of pips. Still has not reached the targets. Most of the setups that I'm showing you here have not reached the targets yet. We're still riding them. Right. So that is a Euro yen. Let's look at more. There was Euro yen there, and the one that I like the most is CHFJPY. I'll show you when we do the analysis, the market analysis here, that we focused on this. If you look at the previous week's video, we said this before it even got to the blue box. We said this is a structure. Most of people don't really understand these complex corrections. Okay, this is what we like to call a complex B correction. In this case, it's a complex X correction. You would not have focused on this if you did not understand that. So we focused that it was going to go into the blue box and then drop. Okay, from here, got another entry. If you look at the current chart on Chief Yen, let's look at Chief Yen again, current chart. Just look at how that has played out. Let's have a look. Chief Yen, my favorite pair. One of my favorite pairs. So that's how that has played out. So you see this, we just wanted to get this to correct and drop, and now it is making another correction, this continuation pattern to the downside. So the trend is still on, guys. It's still continuing, still gonna make money. And it's not that you don't know what the direction, where the market is going, or the direction of the market. It's the timing that is required. You've got the Elliott wave theory, but what you don't have, and this is the difference with what I teach our guys here, the strategy. We've got a specific strategy to trade this. Now there's AUDJPY. The interesting thing about AUDJPY, there's a good learning here, because what I wanted here was this to drop, and I wanted it simply to drop, not because of structure, simply because of correlation with the rest of the pairs. And if you look at this, that was a wrong view, because you had an impulse there and you needed to have a corrective structure, and we actually had a corrective structure instead of this drop. So which means that that bias was incorrect, and that was not the theory that was wrong, it was the perception that they was going to drop with the rest of the pair. So let's look at the current AUDJPY setup as well, and how that has played out. So you lose, you win some, you win some, you lose some. So this is what we had here. We've got this one here, and it has actually gone up, and that is not that we did not get that setup. So I'm sharing this with you to show that it's not all the setups that we're gonna focus and we got right. That is why we need to use risk management. We're gonna update what we expect with this in the market analysis just now. All right, so that is AUDJPY, pound US dollar. This actually we've actually taken this from here. I just posted this one late, so we knew that it was making this pulsing move here and a corrective structure here. Pulsing move and a corrective structure. And if we look at the pound chart, pound US dollar chart, it has actually dropped from there. Very nice entry and a very nice drop. Let's have a look there. Pound US dollar, beautiful, beautiful setup. Textbook stuff. This is where we dropped, entry, and then it has dropped this. We're still continuing to the downside. We're not doing analysis yet. I'm just showing you update on the setups that we took during the week. This is what happens when the market is trending. When the market is trending, you get loads and loads of setup, and you find that in correction, you actually scrabble around for setups. You don't get anything. So New Zealand yen, let's have a look at New Zealand yen as well. Current chart on Euro New Zealand yen. This is all in 1 week. New Zealand yen. Slow New Zealand yen. All right, so Euro New Zealand, this is how, not Euro New Zealand, New Zealand yen, this is how this one has played out. Let's go back to the 1 hour. It has actually gone sideways. As much as there's an error here, there was no setup here we've taken because it did not confirm our strategy. Okay, so this has actually still gone sideways. Even if it looks like it's dropping here, we still had not gotten a setup here until it did this. So this would have been updated up to this level. So we did not get a setup here. There's a likelihood that we can get another one here that we can drop. Either that, now I'm doing market analysis. So we're just doing an update. So this one has not really played out. It's just gone sideways. It's not set confirmed as yet. Right, so let's look at the rest quickly. So we wrap up. Now, gold. let's look at gold. So gold, after that 3-wave pullback, let's go to the 3-wave pullback on gold. So after this pullback on gold, I expected this to give us a 3-wave pullback like this. I expected this to give a 3-wave pullback and push higher. Instead, the whole correction is actually going sideways. So that gold has not taken off as yet. So we've got this 3-wave pullback, which was textbook, got this from the blue box, pushed up higher, but we did not get the 3-wave pullback that we were looking for. It's actually making a whole corrective structure, which we need to understand. We'll do this when we do the market analysis, the update on this one. All right, so similar to silver, let's go look at silver as well. And the setup we had on silver. So I have to show you all of them, ones that works and the ones that don't work. Okay, so silver, looking for a corrective structure here and a push higher. And the current update, it did not quite take off as expected. Let's have a look at this, but we'll do an update on what to expect next. So we had this break out of here. We wanted this to be a corrective structure and push higher. So we did not get that. We're going to update this structure, which we can now see what's going on there. Right, that is silver. Let's look at the rest. Should be one or two more. Let's just look at the last one. Maybe you can see what we do here. Let's just look at what we want. New Zealand CAD. So New Zealand CAD, if you look at that, it has also dropped. And you'll see a whole lot of others that we discussed, even if I don't show you the setups here that have actually played out. Almost 95% of the setups that we've looked at have played out. So that's New Zealand CAD, the current New Zealand CAD setup. New Zealand CAD setup, let's have a look at this. So as I've said, these are trending now. These are trending, we're just following the trend, we're just looking for entries. That was a New Zealand CAD, and this is how it is playing out. Okay, that arrow was here. Let's have a look here. You see where we took it. We wanted that to correct. And we see when we want the correction to happen, it actually happens because we know where it's supposed to happen and what we look at for it to happen. And that is the drop. You can see how many pips that has dropped from 87 to 86, over 120 pips already in just a day. All right, so that was the New Zealand CAD. Last one. Is actually the latest one that I've just posted over the weekend. Let's just have a look at this one here. EURCHF, I've been saying that you just keep expecting drops and you don't do anything new there on EURCHF. You just wait for pullbacks and wait for it to drop. Currently it's making this corrective structure. I thought it was going to make a single one, but it looks like it's just going to make a regular flat and we're going to drop again. Okay, so let's start with the market analysis. This is how it works, and this is what we share, and this is what we do during the week updates of the charts and setups. So let's start with today's work, today's analysis. All right, we've spent the first 20 minutes just doing that. Let's start with Bitcoin. Start with the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin. Right, so last week, I was looking at the lower time frames, but just for Bitcoin only, I'll show you the higher time frame. We are currently on an uptrend as well. So as I've been saying, we are on a trend, we're looking upside. So all we're doing is look for continuation patterns to the upside. All right, so we look into the lower time frames to look for continuation patterns. Here, we've got a pullback here. I'm expecting that this whole thing will be filled with a correction. We just need to understand which correction it's going to be. Now, let's go through into the 4-hour chart and see what we have here on Bitcoin. Right, so what I just said is we're looking for continuation patterns. That is that pullback that I was talking about. It has pulled back in 3 waves, as you can see. Right, so last week, let's check where we were last week and how that has played out. So last week we were here. This was actually making a pulse in a corrective structure here. I expected that, I just need to make it a little bit bigger so it can be clear. Let's make it a bit bigger. That's much better. Actually, 1 hour will be much better for you to look at. Right, should be much clearer now. So last week, this is what we had. We had this pullback in 3 waves. Okay, we had this one here. Let's do that in green. We had the green here, so we expected that we're going to have this one doing this. One correction, we dropped slightly from where we were last week. We expected that it was going to do this. This is the structure that we expected. Possible that it goes up and then comes back down with the yellow. Okay, right, so we did not get that green first. It actually just went straight down and make a three-wave move. That's okay. That's what will always happen in the corrective structure. It's gonna, it's correcting. All you're trying to figure out is when it's going to complete. Right. So we've got that now. Instead of getting that as a regular flat or a zigzag in there, it has just dropped like this. So we've just simply got a three-wave structure like that. Simple three-wave structure. Okay, so now after that three-wave structure, you're still not getting any corrective structure. You're getting another pulsing move. I'm going to use that red for that pulsing move. We've got the pulsing move here. Now I'm going to use the green here. Let's use the green. Or the blue rather. So you've got the pullback also in the pulsing moves. You're not getting a corrective structure as yet. So you're getting that here. You're getting a three-wave move there. Okay. And now you're getting this to drop here. Now, what is the expectation? I'm expecting this to drop slightly to about this level and then push higher in this fashion. Okay, I'm going to go to the 4-hour and show you the overall structure that I'm expecting. I think maybe even this view you can see. You've got the move down, you've got a move up, you've got a move down. So what you have here is a three-wave move down, another three-wave move up. How far will this go? That will depend on this breaking up here. When this starts reversing around this area, then that will be our X. So we don't know if our X is going to break the top first and come back and then go. So essentially here we are in a corrective structure. So what to look out for on the immediate term is the break of this to the downside. For me, this is not even a trade. It's just to complete this structure and then push higher. All right. So that is the level to look out for is around there at 10,440. Okay. So let's see if we get there. What happens if we're gonna get there? We get a blue box to the upside. I don't think it'll break the top there. We may come back for one. Let me make full screen here, show you the expected structure. Maybe 4-hour first. Let's look at this in the 4-hour, show you the structure, the overall corrective structure that we're looking for here. Let's switch this off here. So what we will expect here is that you've got a three-wave move down, a three-wave move up, and a possible three-wave move down before the trend resumes to the upside. Before the trend, remember we're on a trend now, before the trend resumes to the upside. So where are we now? We've got this lower degree, 1, 2, 3, 1. We're currently in this 2. This is what I'm expecting for this to push a little bit lower, maybe push up higher back to this level and get another three-wave move down. Okay, it does not have to be a zigzag. Remember, it can be any corrective structure. And if you want to label this, this will be your W, X, Y structure, and then you expect a push higher. Now, when you try to trade this, you're going to be looking for this to break out of this. That'll be your trend line, and then you'll be looking for this to break out here. Now, for those that like a lot of letters and labelings, you can do this: an A, B, C here, A, B. See, we're in a B now. We'll be looking for this to make a C to the upside. So that's what we're expecting. Right, so there's a number of ways this can play out, but I don't want to confuse you with so many alternatives. But what we are essentially looking for is for this bigger structure to complete so that the main trend can resume. Because that's what we want to write. Right, so that is Bitcoin, and that's what you're going to be waiting for. Okay, so that's that. Can even do that. See, there's a number of ways this can play out, but all you're looking for is a corrective structure to the upside. So here can be a regular flat, can be a three-wave move. So you still have 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down, and then a push higher. So it's a number of ways that we can look at this. But let's not confuse you with all of that. Just look out for this immediate one that we're looking for now. Possible down here, up, possible 3 waves down, and then up. Then you get the structure like this. Beautiful structure if it plays out like that. That is Bitcoin, Litecoin. Yes, the recording is on. Thank you, Gerald. Okay, so Litecoin, let's have a look at Litecoin. Now, Litecoin, It's currently correcting as well. So idea also here is to forecast the corrective structure. What you're seeing here is what looks like an expanding flat here. Okay, if that is an expanding flat, we may be forming another corrective structure here like that. Let's look at that. Choose the right color there. We could be dropping like that and make another complex structure in there, and then you get another 3 waves down in yellow before we ride the trend. So all the cryptocurrencies, we are in a corrective structure, and it's good that we are in this corrective structure, because what you're looking for is for this whole corrective structure. You'll eventually, for trendline traders, they'll eventually find that there's a trend of correction coming down like this before, and then that's when they'll be looking for a trade. So we are looking at the cycle. We know all the waves that must happen within the corrective structure before we actually take a trade. So we're not going to wait for this to break out of the trend. We're going to be taking it right down at the bottom, because we're going to be looking at the cycle, and the cycle must complete, and the sequence as well. So that's what we're looking for. What are we looking for in the immediate term? We're looking for this short move to the downside. You can see there's correlation with Bitcoin. That's what we're expecting there as well. That is Litecoin. Ethereum. Ethereum, same. Looking for this to drop a little bit lower here, up here, make a regular flat. You see, it's all similar. Now the difference here is, let's look at this one here. Let's drop down in 3 waves. You're getting this corrective structure. Will it do this and then go, or is this move complete? So let's watch. For now, you've the immediate term. You're looking for this one to just break below this flag here. This will be a W. This will be your X. That will be a Y, and then a push higher. What are you looking for? You're looking for the correction, the larger correction, to complete like this. You'll be looking for a breakout. That's trendline traders now. We'll be looking to take it from the blue box. We must get a blue box somewhere around here. If it starts playing out and we see it going down, we'll be looking for this to the upside. Right, Ripple. Now Ripple is looking very interesting. It's got a very nice structure. Has not changed. So the theme goes for the cryptos. You've got a pulsing move down here. You've got a complex X correction there, 1, 2, 3. That's you have it. You've got a flat correction there, and you've got this one coming down here, and it's coming down nicely because it's starting to make this V pattern here, and the V pattern here, we know that it's a trend reversal pattern. So when this comes down here, we'll be looking for this to continue to the upside. What does this give you? It gives you a W, X, Y corrective structure, and then a push higher. So watch for this to come break the low here before pushing higher. So that all the cryptos, just slight pushes to the low side just to complete the corrective structures. So you see that I don't put in a lot of letters. I just identify the structures for you here. It's not that we don't label the chart. I do label the charts if necessary. Okay, so this is A inside here, B, and the C there. Okay, so you've got a structure. You can go on into the lower time frame, putting in letters, making it all complicated and looking very accurate, because some people believe that I've got a perception that if a chart is all full of letters and numbers, that's when it's accurate. It's actually when it actually misleads you, because then it is not clear. If it's not simple, it may be just wrong. Right, it must be simple and clear. Okay. When you put in your money into a trade, you must be 90% sure that this trade will possibly play out. Right, that is Ripple, and that's all the cryptos. Now let's look at the indices. The indices are very interesting as well. We've now broken the all-time highs as expected. When did we forecast that we're going to break the all-time highs? We forecasted that we're going to break the all-time highs while we were busy, while this market was apparently, for most people, they thought this was dropping. Okay. Right, so that's normal. If there's some strategies have got a drawback in that sense, that you will not necessarily see what the cycle is. You're just looking at the structure breaking down without understanding the whole cycle. But if you understood the cycle and you were trading with us and you were watching these videos from last year, when this was happening, we said, wait for this to break the low. Okay, it did break the low and it looked like it was going all the way, but we could see that it is an expanding flat because the top here was broken as well. So breaking down here, we've got a limit of where this should go. in terms of the expanding flat. You've got a guideline for how far this must go. All right, so that was not violated, and that's why we still expected this. You'll see it in all my videos. I never expected the S&P 500 to crash. There were some that were panicking around this area as well. It's normal to panic when you don't really have a solid strategy, or if you don't understand what's going on. When this was doing this, I said this when we got here, before we even got there, that at this area, expected deeper pullback. It's not a lie. Go watch the videos. We discussed this. And it's not because I'm clever, I'm a magician. I simply apply the wave theory as I have learned it. And I believe I've learned it the right way. So that's why this is so accurate. So you see here, we've got a 3-wave pullback forecasted when we're still here. And we said it's going to come. And now it did come. And we said we're going to get all-time highs. Where are we now? All-time highs. I'm not a magician. It's not my strategy. I learned the strategy, but it works amazingly well if you understand it the right way. All right, there are people who've been trading for 10 years. Trading the Elliott wave theory is still not profitable. And because they're doing, if you keep doing it the wrong way, it doesn't matter how long you do it, you're going to keep getting it right. We've got people with 10 years experience that have attended the course and have actually found benefit from it, because it should be done the right way. So the Dow, let's look at the Dow now. Similar structure. Maybe before we go to the Dow. So why was I so convinced that this was gonna push to the upside? It's because the structure, the overall structure, which you don't see on a weekly basis here, was telling us we are only in wave 4. These are the structures that you don't see here. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's show that. The structure that we were looking at here, unfortunately, is a little bit cluttered here. Just follow the blue. If you follow the blue, I was looking for this blue wave 4. Blue wave 4, this whole thing, even when it was coming down here, I was only expecting it to complete the wave 4. And then we're still gonna push now for a wave 5. Now, even wave 5, guys, when this starts dropping, don't expect the market to crash and go back to zero, anything like that. The market is just gonna correct the whole move from the beginning up to there, possibly up to 50 to 61%, and the market trend will resume again. Okay. So the indices are nowhere close to crashing, guys. Nowhere close to crashing. Even if you get a deep correction, it's not crashing. All right, so let's continue. This is what you don't see. You see the way this swing started. It started way back in 2009. The 2009. The uptrend started way back in 2009. You've got a blue degree there and the lower degree yellow that is completed in wave 3. In blue, you have a 4 here, and the indices are simple because it's a simple 5-wave structure which everybody understands. So there's no need to panic. So what are we looking for in the next coming sessions? You are simply looking for continuation patterns. The trend is up. You don't attempt to buy. And don't take the trade. Do not take the trade if you don't have a setup. Here you don't have a setup. This is not doing anything until you get a corrective structure, clear corrective structure here. Then you can start taking the trade. Okay, so something like that. Then you can take the trade. But otherwise, if you don't have a setup, you don't take the trade. Because you need to know where your stop is, where your take profit level is. When do you move to break even? When do you protect your profits? Okay, so that is the S&P 500. The Dow. Dow, similar. Also, all-time highs. Exactly the same structure. A, B, C, and then we've pushed up higher. We're looking for continuation patterns to the upside. Just look for continuation patterns, take it up. Okay, so it has also made that expanding flat similar to the S&P 500. You're looking for this to push higher. Okay. NASDAQ. NASDAQ is actually at the previous highs now, has not broken, but because the others have already broken, it should do the same as well. Just look for continuation patterns to the upside. So the NASDAQ has also done this, and we're looking for upside. That pullback that we spoke about, deep pullback that we spoke about when we got to the all-time highs, that's what happened. S&P 500 has already broken out of here. I expect the NASDAQ to break out as well, but it must give you a corrective structure here as well for upside. UK 100 or Nikkei first, Nikkei. So this has been very simple analysis for the last 2 years or so, because all we've been doing is just look for continuation patterns. Nikkei, also made that deep pullback, even though it was not all at the all-time highs. The structure on the Nikkei is a little bit different. You've got a pulsing move here, you've got this one here, you've got this three-wave move here. Let's show it in a different color. 1, 2, 3, and the last push higher. Even gaps, guys, are part of the structure. So here you've got a three-wave move up, you could get another three-wave pullback and a push higher to go retest the previous highs. Possibility of this doing that and then going. Okay, and that's on the 1 hour, that's okay. That pullback is not big because it's simply a 1 hour chart. So let's look for continuation pattern at least to the just the previous high. That is the Nikkei DAX first. The DAX, let's go daily here, or 4 hour rather. We're still continuing to the upside. Looks like it is making a three-wave move here. Remember what we looked at the DAXes? We looked at this to be a running flat here. And we said this is going to be a 1, 2, 3. There's a pullback here, and you could be now getting another 1, 2, 3 to go and test the previous highs. Okay, so let's see how that plays out. You are currently in the uptrend. At some point, you must get this. You must get a correction this side. This size, I mean to say. So that will be your W, that will be your X, that will be your Y. If you want it to go lower, this will be your W, no, not W, A. There's a difference between WXY and an ABC, right? It's a whole day, it's a whole model to explain the difference. Okay, so that is ABC. Expect another ABC structure here. Looking good, upside, trend is up. That's the DAX. Nikkei we already looked at. Let's look at the UK 100. The Nikkei UK 100 has made a 5-wave move here. We've looked at this as a 5-wave move, and this is a 3-wave pullback. This is a 3-wave pullback. 1, 2, 3. Let's switch this off here. 1, 2, 3, and we're looking for this to continue like that. Possibly retest the previous highs. So what do you look for? You look for continuation patterns, corrections here to take it up. Easy like that. Nifty. The Nifty, you're looking at this as a corrective structure. We just need to see what kind of corrective structure we're getting here. Is this the corrective structure? Is it complete? And then it's going to start coming down here and do this, and then we push higher. Then that will be a 3-wave move down. That will be a 3-wave move down, as you can see there. 3 waves up, and then expect another 3 waves. So then when this completes here, then you look for upside. Okay, so that will be your W, X, Y corrective structure and a push higher. Okay, that's the Nifty, and that's on the 4 hour. Right, lastly, the indices. Let's just look at this one, Indian stock. I just like to look at this just to show that the wave analysis works in any structure. Here we had a pulsing move to the upside, pullback, 3 waves. It is making another pullback here. So the expectation is this to drop a little bit higher, make this continuation pattern, and still drop to the downside. So let's watch what happens with this one. I'll update it next week. Okay, so we had this expanding flat here that has now dropped. It's making another possible corrective structure, and let's see how this plays out. All right, so let's go to the majors. That is the US dollar pairs, US dollar, Euro US dollar first. So Euro US dollar, I don't know why we did not see this under, I didn't show you this under trade setups, because we also looked at Euro US dollar. Let me just have a look here. Euro US dollar, we traded that to the downside, and I'll show you why we traded that to the downside. Let's see, is this the one here? Yes, that's Euro US dollar. I didn't show you the Euro US dollar setup. You could see it setting up here, and this is how we're looking for a trade here. Has now dropped. Okay, so let's have a look here. It's not a lot of pips at the moment, but it's quite a bit. Let's have a look here. So this is where we are currently. We've already dropped from here. Why are we looking for this to drop here? Let's look at the structure, because the trade comes from the structure. Let's look on the daily here. You guys know what we're looking at here. I showed you this last week, that this can keep crawling all the way up to retest the top here, or it can simply make a running flat. So there's a possibility that this can actually simply make a three-way move up, three-way move down, three-way move up, and then we continue with this. Remember what we have here. Remember what we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and we could be starting a 5-way move to the downside as well. So the trend could be continuing here. So that is why we looked at that trade. We took the trade when it set up here, and now it's continuing to the downside. And that is the benefit of being in our group. We know when this sets up. Okay, so that is what you're looking at here. Let's see if that plays out, but we are now looking for downside there. Let's just move there. So that is the drop there. Another correction will confirm that downside. DXY is the opposite of what the euro is doing. Also making a running flat there. That is your running flat. It has broken the top there. Let's mark that. It has broken. This is the previous high. It was broken here. So this is how it was broken. So it can be a running flat. So you can have this doing this. W, X, Y, and we get continuation. That continuation of this move that started there. Okay, so that whole move can be a higher degree A, B, and then you'll be going for a C here. So let's see how that plays out. All you're looking now for now is corrective structures. This will confirm that this structure has completed, and now you're looking for upside. Very clear. All right. That is the DXY. Just the inverse of the euro. US dollar CAD, US dollar CAD. You're simply looking for this to push lower. At least we should get a reaction when we get to this blue box here. When you get to this blue box, at least a reaction. Are we gonna get in here and push higher? Why am I expecting that? Because this move looks to have started here and is making a three-way move. So it may not be the one that goes, so we may still be getting one more up and then a down. So let's watch what happens when you get to the blue box. You must take your profits there. Take your profits there and wait for a new entry, because at that area, it will give you a corrective structure, even if it's a smaller one. Okay, then we'll know what's going on with this whole structure. Okay, so let's see, we've got that here. So that is how that dropped from there. This is how that dropped. Okay, so even trendline traders should have got that one, because it broke the trend line and retested and it's coming down. It's amazing how we all look at the charts differently. Right, so that is what you're looking for on US dollar CAD. Just look for continuation patterns and look for reversal signs up to the blue box. Okay, so if this crashes through the blue box, we're going to update the structure. Pound, sorry, not pound. US dollar CHF. Now, US dollar CHF is very easy to trade when the structure is not. So hold on a second, 1 second, guys. So US dollar CHF, all you do is just look at what the euro is doing, euro US dollar, because if you look at US dollar CHF and US dollar and CHF, they're almost at parity, so which means they're exactly the same. So euro US dollar as well will be the exact inverse of US dollar CHF. So you may just trade US dollar CHF as the inverse of Euro US dollar. In this case, Euro US dollar, you're expecting a correction and a possible downside. So you expect the opposite for US dollar CHF. So look for correction and upside. Pound US dollar. Why are we looking for this drop? We have shown this for the longest time now that we're looking for this. So much clutter in this chart. Let's have a look. We are looking for this to be the move down here and this to continue like that. What we've got in the middle there, a flat, expanding flat. Okay, so continuation patterns to the downside, guys. Just keep buying, not buying. You keep getting corrective structures and you keep selling. I showed you the setup on pound US dollar. I'm not going to go back to it again. We actually took this one here when it corrected and it's dropping here like that. And you'll see that the short-term setup only shows you modestly the target as this. This is only the minimum, guys. It's only the minimum target. It will still go all the way down. Okay, so that is pound US dollar. Look for continuation patterns to the downside. Audi US dollar. Audi US dollar is a little bit tricky. You could be looking at this as an expanding flat like that. Let's switch off here with an AB base pattern, and this to come and make one more down. Okay, this should be following the euro. Let's go to the lower time frame, see that AB base pattern. If you want a good example of an AB base pattern, I'll show you just now. So this is an AB base pattern. It's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's an AB base pattern, and then we continue to the downside. Okay, so you've got expanding flat 1, 2, 3, AB base pattern, then you start dropping. Get a corrective structure here that is in play, and you've got a big move down, at least minimum to that level, and we still continue to the downside. Okay, so that's what we have there. Just to give you an example of an AB based pattern, if you look at pound, US dollar on the daily, I don't have a lot of time now. We've spent a lot of time looking at the setups. Let's look at it on the 4-hour. You can take a screenshot and go study it. Maybe next time we'll discuss it. You've got this whole move here, that whole corrective structure that you see there. Take a snapshot of that, go study it. You've got an AB based pattern, and the trend continues to the downside. Okay, next week we may discuss this if we get some time. Right, so that's pound US dollar, that's Audi US dollar. Expect downside when you get a correction so that can follow the euro. Okay, just a recap. Audi US dollar. New Zealand, expect the same. In New Zealand is even better because it's playing out. They're expanding flat. So all you do now is look for, even if it's a small continuation pattern, to the downside. Okay. Lastly, on the US dollar pairs, US dollar ZAR, we said if it breaks here, it's going to come down here. Let's go to the daily, show you the structure that I showed you last week, that is going to drop and minimum get to the blue box there. So here you're getting another corrective structure. It's a pullback. You're going to sell this again until it gets to that level. We were here last week. Watch last week's video. We said that's going to drop. It was not part of the setups in the week, but we showed it. I showed you this one in the Sunday webinar. So it's pulling back. Expect continuation patterns to the downside. Let's go to the 1 hour, see how those corrective structures are playing out. Okay, so you may have here an expanding flat, and this is ready to start dropping. We already have an impulsive move there. Correction, we're continuing to the downside. So this is the one that broke down here from here, got another correction here, that was an entry point. You've got another correction, that was an entry point. Now you've got a bigger one, which is what you want. You've got a pulsing move to the downside, you're looking for this to go down. Okay, that's how you look at that. Let's look at the yen pace. Pound yen, I showed you this one on the trade setups. I can't remember if this box was constructed during these webinars before we reached here, or we did this during the daily webinars. But in any case, we've got this 1, 2, 3 into the blue box, and then we drop like that. It's correcting again. It's a continuation pattern. It will go again. And the target minimum, we're looking for this to go as far as 131. There. Okay. We're looking for this to keep dropping. No sign of reversal as yet. USDJPY. Track the videos, I think from 3 weeks back. I showed you the long-term view on the US dollar yen and why I'm looking for this to keep continuing to the downside. This may continue a little bit to the upside here, and then we drop like that. Let's switch off here. But that simply will be the structure. 3 up, 3 back, 3 up, and then a drop. It will just be a bigger corrective structure, giving an opportunity to keep selling this. So you just wait for this to correct here, and then wait for it to drop. Okay, we are looking for downside on USDJPY. Track the previous couple of videos. Just go click on USDJPY on the timestamps, and you'll see the weekly view on that. It's amazing. We know that it just has to keep going down. EURJPY, I showed you this during trade setups. From here, has dropped. It is making a 3-wave move. It is continuation pattern, expected to continue. We're going to be trading this in the week as well. Okay, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised why you know the direction of the market, but you can't trade it. Or you go in, you lose money. While you know the direction of the market, is because you need to have a strategy other than the Elliott wave strategy itself. Okay, the Elliott wave theory is a forecasting tool. It's not a trading tool. So that's why you also need to have a trading strategy. Okay, gives you direction, but you need to have a trading strategy as well. That's EURJPY. You see how it played out this corrective structure. It's going to drop. Right, CHFJPY, showed you this one. Amazing pair. Some may have thought I'm doing nonsense when I did this here, saying that it's going to get into the blue box and drop. Took it from here, it's making another correction again. There's a nice entry point for continuation to the downside. Okay, so let's see how that plays out. It's continuation pattern, nothing new there. Euro is down, CHF is down because they're correlated somehow. Audi, as we expected this to drop with the other yen pairs, did not quite. So instead it made a 3-wave pullback. Could it be making another 3-wave up to retest there? Make a bigger one here, structure like this, structure like this. That will be an ABC structure. Here it can be a pulse or an ending diagonal. Then continuation to the downside. Okay, how do you trade that continuation? Trendline traders will do this. We'll wait for the trend to happen and look for that. We'll look for the cycle. That's why we're going to try to take it when it makes a flag there or a corrective structure there to show that that will be complete to the downside. It's AUDJPY, New Zealand JPY. New Zealand JPY also could be starting this or starting to play at this expanding flat. See the expanding flat there? Let's see how that plays out. We are now dropping in 3 waves though. It's 1, it's 2. Could this be continuation to the downside? Or can this now be So we need to see what happens there. It's not clear at this stage. It's not clear. Let's see what we get here. First, let's get a three-wave pullback. There's no sell setup, no buy setup there. All right. Lastly, on the yen pairs, before we go to silver and gold, got CADJPY. Let's look at the daily here. CADJPY is the only one that may potentially push to the upside because you've got this move up here. You've got a three-wave pullback like this. It's a one. It's a let's get this straight line. It's a one. It's a two. It's a three. Now we could be playing out this one here. Could be playing out that one. Let's see how that plays out. So that means continuation patterns to the upside. So it is possible to have CADJPY opposing the rest of the yen pairs, simply because it could be driven by the CAD. So that's very possible. All right, so that is a CADJPY. Just wait for a setup. Now silver and gold. Let's start with gold. Now gold. I looked at this one during when we're looking at the setups. Now, if you look at gold, if you look at, let's look at this. Now, if you look at the 1 hour, you're going to panic when you see this. Okay, I already saw some people commenting in the video, gold is tanking, gold is falling. But look at, you must have different views. Look at the daily. Look at the daily and look where the trend is. What is happening on the daily? This is simply going sideways. Simply, we had that three-wave pullback, which I thought was broken to the upside, but what it is simply doing now is that it's making another one to the coming back. What is the trend? The trend is up. You're just simply correcting. You're gonna go up. Okay, so you need to understand market structure and the cycle. You cannot understand the cycle only in the 1 hour. You need to understand the whole view, the whole weekly view and where we're going. I said we're looking for 1,500. Now look at this on the weekly. It's not going anywhere. It has just stayed where it was in the previous week. It's a corrective structure. All you need to do in the lower degree is to understand the completion of that corrective structure and push it higher. Okay, no need to panic. And that is what we're looking for. The structure is still intact and gold is not reversing as yet. We're looking for this correction and then up, still intact. Okay, need to understand. Right, that is gold. So if we're looking at gold now on the 4 hour, let's look at this. So what we've seen here is that we've had a three-wave move to the downside. We had a pulsing move. What are the possibilities here? Here you've got a three-wave move to the downside. What can this do? Can it give you another one like this? Come back here. Let's get the red. There's a number of ways this can play out. Can do that. 1, 2, 3. So it can stay here for an extended period, but it will simply be correcting. Just because it's not taking off does not mean it's not going to come. It will come, and when it comes, you will see that the structure will be even clearer. So we are still looking for gold upside. Okay, busy correcting now. Let's see how this goes. All right, we're going to catch it when it plays out. Right, let's see. Silver. So silver, same. This could simply be a three-wave move. Okay, and let's see if we're gonna get a corrective structure here and the nature of the corrective structure that we're gonna get. Whether it's gonna do that and then push higher, that will be a deeper corrective structure. For now, if you look at this view here, which you don't usually see, you'll see that silver is not going anywhere. It has simply made a whole three-wave move. Okay, could make another one, and then go retest the top there. What will be happening is simply 1, 2, 3, and a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so no need to panic. Wait for the market to play out. Just don't rush in. People who are panicking are those that have just bought because they saw a candle up. You need to take this with a strategy. So let's see here. So there is a likelihood that if you've got this like that, you've got a 1, 2, 3 there, you could get this. So it's another alternative that will push this higher. Doesn't matter which one I prefer. All that matters is for me to be able to recognize and identify the structure when it's complete to be able to get the trade. So let's watch, let's give it more time to play out until we get a setup. All right. As silver and gold, let's look at the pound pairs. Pound pairs have been easy. This on the weekly. If we look at pound CHF, the structure is simple, it's similar to that of pound US dollar. You've got to move down. This is what we're expecting. Okay, so the CHF pairs have been dropping quite harshly in the last couple of sessions. That includes EURCHF. So if you look at this, we forecasted that this correction was going to complete and we're going to have a drop to the downside. If you watch the previous videos, you'll see us forecasting this being a 3-wave move to the upside, then this one dropping like this, which is exactly what it has done. So any corrective structure or pullback, that's what I said on the pound pairs, you keep selling. Let's go to the daily. So on the daily, do you see any pullback there? I don't see any pullback, or there is some sort of a pullback, but that's a 3-wave pullback here. Let's look at it in the lower degree 4-hour. So now if you look on the 4-hour, you've got a pulsing move to the upside. Pulsing move up, pulsing move down, we're busy correcting. You could get even this, and that will be even better for you to ride the trend. So you want deeper corrections. You don't want these small ones to enter. You don't want, okay, this one is okay, but you don't want these small ones, because these small ones, you get this one dropping, coming to take it off. So you don't want those ones. You want these ones in this degree. Hey, the trend is still down. Pound New Zealand dropping, 3 waves pullback. Let's show the structure again here that we've identified when this was playing out. If you remember, we traded this one as one of those guaranteed trades to the blue box. We took it from here, bought, and sold it in the blue box. Now it's dropping like this. So this pullback is nothing other than, it's just that. It's just a pullback. We're going to drop still. We want this to do this. The pound pairs are still looking downside. No reversal as yet. So don't let those pullbacks scare you. Watch them, let them play corrective structures. Simply, there's your pullback. You can see it's in 3 waves, running flat, and another move. Could push slightly higher and drop. So what do you do here? All you want here is this flag down here. You get that correction. You ride the trend to the downside. Easy, 1, 2, 3. Right? Pound Audi. Somebody commented in one of the previous videos that pound CHF does not follow wave structure. There is no such. There's no market that does not follow wave structure. As you've seen, the pairs that we analyze here, almost 90–95% of them play out. Now you say 90–95%, you should be a billionaire. That's the forecasting. That's the forecasting accuracy. When it comes to trading itself, okay, trading itself, fine, 65, sometimes even 70%. Okay, so that's why you need to manage risks, because the timing of the market is what is challenging for most. You know the direction, you enter, you lose money, you get out, and the market goes to the direction that you focused in the first place. Now, this is Audi, pound Audi. We're looking for continuation to the downside. Now, Audi is very interesting in that those that have been watching for these videos for the last 2 or 3 years, even if it's not that long, but you are able to go to the history and the archives and see the previous videos and see that we forecasted this whole corrective structure, okay, from the start to the end. From here two here, going all the way up, making this W, X, Y, X, Z corrective structure. We looked at this as a corrective structure, and now we're looking for this to drop. Okay, we're looking for this to drop. From 2017, this has been playing out. We've been watching it, and we're still waiting for this to drop. Will it drop now eventually and get that move? Let's see how this plays out. So we've got a trade from that level after the passing move and a correction. Let's see how that plays out. Now you're still looking for continuation patterns to the downside. There is no sign of any reversal at this stage. We're looking for this to keep dropping. Getting a new one, a new corrective structure here again. It is no reversal, guys. It is a corrective structure. Look for continuation. That's pound Audi, pound CAD. Pound CAD, very simple. Just been on the down, as I've said, on the with the rest of the pound pairs. You've got a three-wave move down. Let's switch off here. Three-wave move down here. We focused on this correction together during the videos here. We had this one here looking like this. It's a move up, correction, and a move up. Now we're getting this drop. Now we're getting the drop here. Move down, looking for this. Should drop as far as that. It's like magic, textbook stuff. WX, looking for a Y. Some point here, you must get a corrective structure like that. Right, continuation patterns, that's all you do. All the pound pairs are euro pound. As much as you're still expecting the pound pairs to push higher, euro pound, because it's got the pound as a quoted pair, needs to give you continuation pattern to the upside. Remember, we said we want this to come retest the previous highs here. We want the previous highs to be retested there. So what do you want here? You want corrective structures in the lower degree. Now, if you look at this here, it looks like it's gonna have a bit of a pullback on the 1 hour. Let's go 1 hour. So now that is not going to be a reversal. It may just give you a corrective structure. Let's have a look there. Video will be on YouTube shortly, Grayson. Right, so that is what you have there. You see this is very strong divergence there. Let's fix this like that. That is making higher highs there, but the indicator is making lower lows, lower highs. So that means at some point here, you're going to get a deeper pullback. Does not mean reversal. You can get a deeper pullback, but that deeper pullback can be a trade because it can do this and do this before pushing higher. Okay, that's how you look at it. Right, that's euro pound. Let's do the rest of the euro pairs. Let's look at euro New Zealand. Now, euro New Zealand is a good example. It's a good example of how you can know where the market is going and be surprised 1,000, 1,500 pips later that it has gone and you never made a cent out of it. Okay, so that, as we've been showing, this is the structure that I'm looking at on euro New Zealand. You know the structure, you know the direction, but why are you still not making money? It's because you don't have the timing, don't have the trading strategy. And that is what is more critical, even more than forecasting, because that's the challenging task. All right, so you've got that structure, you've got a regular flat in the middle there. Okay, I've even done a comparison between this and EURCHF to show you that EURCHF has already done this structure, so expect the same from euro New Zealand. Another correction here, we're going down. So let me show you what happened with EURCHF. Now let's look at EURCHF as well. EURCHF has already played out that structure. EURCHF, 3 waves down, you're looking for this. same as Euro New Zealand. The only difference is that EURCHF has already played it out. It has already dropped. Euro New Zealand is still here. Okay, so you're expecting me to keep dropping like that. It's lagging this one. Okay, clear WXY structure. You will get a deeper correction here, similar to this as you go down. Right, let's look at the lower time frame. 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, this is your correction. Looks like it's going to push for one before we drop. Okay, what does that correction look like? Let's have a look here. We've got 3 waves up here, could be a correction here and another move here. Okay, that'll be 1, 2, 3 up, W, X, and a Y. Let's see how this plays out. You'll take this out when it drops. So we actually have a setup on this one that still has not gone as yet, and this is the setup. That is the setup there. You just went to a corrective structure. This can actually be a setup for downside. Let's see how that goes. That's EURCHF. EURAUD simply follows Euro New Zealand. So it's also making a 3-wave pullback. You see that it has made this 3-wave pullback. We're expecting continuation to the downside. Easy. And what is the structure on this one? If you look on the daily, that's what you have. You're looking for this to have made a 1, 2, 3 like that. Minimum, we get to this level. Let's see how this plays out. That's all the EUROPES or EUROCAD as well. EUROCAD, very simple structure. Move down 3 waves, move up. Remember, we forecasted these 3 waves together, this complex X correction here. And that's what we have. Okay. That's what we have there. Right, so what are we looking for? Continuation patterns to the downside. We're looking for this one here to keep going. Simple, simple, simple structure. If you just adjust here, you see that is your X now. You've got a simple WXY in red. You've got a WXY in green, WXY in green to complete your structure. Doesn't get any simpler than that. All you want there is continuation patterns. That's what we've been looking at since that correction completed. You're looking for continuation patterns. If you look on the 1 hour, you've got a number of them. You've got one there. Got a 3-wave pullback there, which is not clear. You may have not taken that one. That's okay. But every time you get corrective structures, you must take them to the downside. Right, that's a EuroCAD. Let's look at some of the cross pairs, then oil. New Zealand CAD, one of the setups from last week, it is dropping. Just look for continuation patterns to the downside. Let's show you the daily on this one. So this one is still coming down here. Let's see how far it goes. 1, 2, 3 down here. It's going to be a whole running flat there. So this is still going to make a deeper correction at some point. So we're still looking for downside here. That's why we're taking the trade here. Okay, update this one clearly next week. But your target is back to the 82 area. But don't just buy and hope it gets to the 82 area, because you need to be able to take the loss if it goes against you. So that's why you need to have an entry point like this one. Okay. So we've got that. Any entry after that is going to be risky. New Zealand. New Zealand, Audi New Zealand. Let's look at the daily. So if you look at Audi New Zealand, it looks like it's making a V pattern here. Let's see if it's going to push up higher for one. Maybe retest the top here. For now, let's see what we have here. It's not clear. It's going down very correctively. You've got to move in 3 waves down. You've got to move pullback. You've got to move in 3 waves down here. So this may have completed, and we're looking for this one to correct and then go up. New Zealand CHF. It's got a pulsing move. You want a corrective structure. You want a corrective structure here to at least do that. May take a couple of days, but watch for it, wait for it. AUDJPY. AUDJPY. This is a 3-wave move here. Is this going to be a pulsing move, or is it going to do this first? And if it does that first, that means the structure changes slightly to this. Let's switch this off here. That you've got a pulsing move up here. You've got a correction, and this one is going to do this. Retest the top. So that correction is something like this. Then you've got a pulsing move up, correction, and then a pulsing move up. That you'll see if you get a corrective structure here. That's CADJPY. And lastly, let's look at oil. Now, if you look at oil, on the daily, you've got this pulsing move here, you've got a pulsing move here, you've got a pulsing move here. Let's just look at the short term here on oil. It looks like we're busy correcting with this one, can do that and push a little bit higher. That is on the daily. If you look in the 4 hour, so if you look on the 4 hour, you've got a pulsing move down here, you've got a corrective structure here. Let's see how far this corrective structure is going to go. Is it going to keep doing this? Then we get that. Okay, not clear at this stage. We'll wait for more information here. You've got a pulsing move, it must correct, but which corrective structure is what we need to get more information for. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Good luck in the week ahead. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the videos. Have a great week ahead, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.